Welcome, everybody, to the Tea with Ms McGill Show, episode 57. It is Puka speaking. It is the star of the show, Reed Larson. We told you we'd do two this week, so here we are. We're going to get into some of the semifinal matchups coming up here this weekend. Real quick, though, stay on Facebook, YouTube, podcast, Instagram, wherever you're consuming us. We got some bonus material coming on probably on Sunday, so we have a little bonus material this week. So stay tuned for that. Some recent followers. So if you're not a follower, please hit the follow button or the subscribe button. We have Dan Skelton, AJ Allison, Killer Killebry. If you're a men's league person over on the Eastern Range, you know Killer. Killer's a subscriber, so you should be just like him and follow right now. Okay, we're going to start today with our 7AA playoff preview brought to you by the Blandon Foundation. Parents, and especially you seniors, pay attention to this one. Turn up the volume. Scholarship season is here. The Blandon Foundation is accepting applications for its scholarship program until March 1st, which is already next week, next Wednesday. The Blandon Foundation scholarships offer support of $1,000 up to $5,000 per year. Scholarship staff can connect you with other resources to help you reach the finish line of your educational goals. Students can use Blandon Foundation scholarships for any type of school after high school, certification programs, community, technical, or tribal college, and of course, four-year colleges and universities. Students who have graduated or are graduating from an Itasca County school, including Black Duck, Northholm, Bugginagee, Hill City, and Northland Reamer, are encouraged to apply. So can homeschoolers or online school students who will graduate from one of those schools. Students can apply for a scholarship until they are 25 years of age or have completed a bachelor's degree. So if you've taken some time off and want to return to school, you can still apply and receive support. You must reapply for the scholarship each year. New this year, students who plan to attend the Itasca campus of Minnesota North no longer have a separate application and must apply through the Blandon Foundation. You can apply in 3 easy steps. Get your FAFSA, your student aid report. Ask the Blandon staff, they can help you if you need help with that. Get your household's 2021 tax form and fill out the online application, www.blandonfoundation.org/scholarships. And we've got it. Just go scroll down into the show notes. We've got the link right there to the Blandon Foundation. You can get over there and get your application in. Like we said last week, or earlier this week, money's out there, may as well go get it.
Yeah. Dig in, find whatever you can to take care of those bills that accrue up when you're off into your post-secondary education, to take care of that stuff. Any little bit helps.
It's good. It's good stuff right there. All right. And my wife was after a recipient of the Blandon Foundation scholarships back in the day. All right. Tuesday night, you guys were in action here on the 7AA side. Thunderhawks, Forest Lake Rangers.
Forest Lake Rangers.
All right. And of course, the game turned out in your favor.
Yeah, it was a 4-1 hockey game, Puka. It was a hard-nosed first period. It was tough. We came out of the gates playing pretty tough that night. It was hard push on our end. We needed to play physical. We needed to try and be sharp. We did both. We did about one and a half of those things. We played physical for the first period. We weren't real sharp as far as handling pucks. I think the nerves kind of set in just a little bit with guys. It's, you get into that first round of playoffs, and that's a scary situation for a coach sometimes, and sometimes for seniors. This is your last home game at the IRA Civic Center for the seniors. It's a potential elimination game for whoever's playing in it, and it's a really scary situation if you're a 3 seed versus a 6 seed or a 4 seed versus a 5 seed, because a bounce here or there could mean the difference in a game. And we'll talk about that here in a minute with the 4-5 seed game. But so guys are a little nervous, and I think pucks were jumping around. We mentioned this comment, in the locker room a couple of times, that the puck looked like it was a foamy out there. It was bouncing around. Like we just didn't seem like we could control it. It was a little sloppy. The first period was hard nosed. Like I said, we played tough in the first period. We had, I don't know if it was 1 or 2-0 the first period. I can't remember. I'm a little bit of a blank because I'm looking forward, but we did score a couple later on in the game. We ended up letting one in as well later on that maybe shouldn't have ended up in the back of our net, but it did. You like to come out of that with some confidence in both areas of the rink. You want to make sure you're putting pucks in the net so that you're confident scoring goals. You want to make sure that there's a big goose egg up on the scoreboard for the visitor's side, that your goalie's feeling confident as well too. We did outshoot them by quite a bit. Yeah. I think it was a high 40s shot range to, I think only their 12 to 13 shots on net, something like that. Miles might argue with me that they had more shots than 13, but I don't really know, to be honest. I just look at the shot clock, so they can argue whatever they want. But at any rate, it wasn't real smooth, and that was probably due to some of the nerves in that game. But it was a 4-1 win. And it should have gave some confidence on offense. And we scored some goals that, the first time we played that team, we only beat them 1-0. And it was a tighter game, not in shots, but a tighter game as far as offense. We created a lot more offense, which was, I guess, a feather in our cap to be able to say we are creating more offense than we were earlier in the season. But we did shut them out in the last game and we let one in. And I think that was just kind of a flubber shot in the second period that they scored that, if Miles had 10 shots like that at him, he'd stop, 9.5 of them. That one just found its way in the back of the net. So we're happy with that. We're ready to move on to Saturday, and we'll talk about that game in the preview once we get to that part of the show.
Yeah. And I was there for the end. I saw Bauer Murphy make that nice rush and netted one there for the fourth goal towards the end there. So congratulations to you, Coach Larson. Congratulations to Thunderhawks on moving on and a big win on Tuesday night. All right, you just alluded to this one. So the 4-5 game, Coon Rapids makes a trip up to Cloquet. We were talking in the last show. It'd be cool to see the showdown between East and Cloquet, big rivalry there. However, Coon Rapids had other plans.
Yeah, that's not going to show up. We're not going to get that rivalry. And unfortunately, Cloquet played their last AA section game at home and lost to the 5 seed.
Yeah, and they were up.
They did. They were up in that game.
They I think 3-1, maybe
3-1.
I think it was.
Yeah,
it ends up being 6-3. So Coon got on a roll at some point.
Well, what's interesting about that is I was having a number of kind of interactions back and forth with their head coach down in Coon Rapids because he's a friend of mine. I worked with him through the HP program last spring. He helped coach one of the 2 HP 16s or 17s teams, and I was a general manager, so we talked a lot and about his program and how excited he is and how the program's been building, and he's been working his rear end off, and kids deserve more, and he just wants to work as hard as he can, and the kids are working so hard, and then they kind of had to battle through some adversity. Like they this year got a huge slap on the wrist from the state high school league saying you got to forfeit 5 or 6 or whatever, however many games it was at the beginning of the year, because they were noted with playing with an ineligible player. So they had to forfeit 5 games, and that may or may not have been a hinder on the seed that they got. I think they probably still would have ended up at the 5 or the 6 seed. I think Cloquet would still have ended up ahead of them regardless. But at any rate, they battled through that slap on the wrist, that hurt that, oh crud, we did something wrong, and they got to play in the playoffs. They make the trip up to Cloquet, and lo and behold, the 5 beats the 4 seed, and Coon Rapids for the first time in a long time is getting an opportunity to play another round game, and a perfect opportunity to do that. They're playing at the Amsoil Arena against Duluth East. So we'll preview that here in a little bit as well.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell. I mean, I didn't even know what a Coon Rapids jersey looks like. I don't know their colors on anything. So
they're black and red.
Are they? Okay, so good for them.
Like a natural cardinal.
Okay, yeah, natural. Okay, are they the Cardinals?
They are the Cardinals.
Okay,
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so the Cardinals. So so congratulations to Coon Rapids. Moving on. All right, drill that like button real quick here. We'll move on to the 7A playoff review brought to our friends over at the Rink Sports Bar and Grill. Gift cards. It's time to use them. It's Lent. Friday fish fry. Today is Friday. So if you need a fish fry, that's where you go, the Rink Sports Bar and Grill. And of course, we're getting towards the end of the year. We talked about the breakout rooms that they have there. So if you're looking for a place to do your team season-ending team banquet, give Michelle a call over at the Rink Sports Bar and Grill. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, they got it all there. So give them a call. They'll get you set up for that end of the year special event. Okay, so just some scores to kind of run through here on the Section 7A side. Rockridge pumped the Falls 9-0. Denfeld over Greenway 7-1 or 7-0, excuse me. Hermantown over North Shore 15-1. The other game, the 4-5 game, Hibbing Proctor 2-0 at the Memorial Building. You're a coach. To me, a little too close for comfort. Would that have made you a little bit nervous?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going into a 4-5 series and that or 4 or 5 seed game like that, and you're the 4 seed playing at home versus the 5 seed where the goaltender of the other team is AJ Riles, I'd be nervous even before the game started, because that's a goalie that can steal a game for somebody. So I imagine, and I didn't look at the shot totals, I imagine the shot totals were lopsided in Hibbing's favor. Yeah. And that would not surprise me in the least that Riles kept him in the game as long as he possibly can. That isn't to say that Hibbing doesn't have fantastic goaltenders, because they do too. But we played a number of games over the course of the last few years against that Proctor team. When I was coaching Bantams, Riles was the goalie. Last year, Riles was the goalie of the JV team when I was coaching JV. Rapids JV team playing against them. And now this year, Riles in the nets against our varsity team. And tell you what, man, he can keep teams in games for a long time. And that is a scary scenario. 2-0 in that game is a bounce or two, and bang, they're back in it. So,
and Hibbing took a penalty late. So there was a power. I think they had a power play about the 2:30 mark to, till about 30 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And then did pull the goalie for a while. So, yeah, so an interesting take, but Hibbing, or Chisholm Hibbing, as I like to say, squeezes out the win there. Okay. So kind of the big news on section 7A, an article today comes out of the Duluth News Tribune by Scott Pionk, not particularly favorable to Hermantown hockey. First off, do you want to tell everyone who Scott Pionk is?
Well, Scott Pionk is the, I guess, taking the program or starting the program up at Stella Mara, which is supposed to be starting here next season.
In Duluth.
It's a new Catholic school going in. They haven't really decided. I don't know if it's, and I could be wrong about when it's supposed to start. So if anybody knows,
it is this fall. Yeah,
maybe it is this fall.
Yep.
Okay. And right now, not sure whether that's going to be single A team or double A team or whatever you might do with a new school coming into likely section 7, one of the two, A or double A. But Scott Pionk is a former Hermantown. I should go back farther. My wife would be upset with me if I didn't say where Scott Pionk is really from.
That is true.
Scott Pionk is really from the Proctor area.
Right.
Okay. Well, as he raised his kids, they moved over to Hermantown. All his kids played through the Hermantown program. He coached in the Hermantown program, run summer programming. He, through that time frame that he was there, I know behind the scenes, was always a big advocate of Hermantown. When you're capable, let's think about moving to the double A. Yeah. He was the guy behind the scenes doing that. Now, I don't know how hard he pushed when he was saying those things. There are a couple of people that were talking about it a lot that wanted to see the program go to the next level. As soon as Coach Pionk's kids left the program, then, he exited and now has been involved in area hockey. He's been coaching the elite league here the last couple of years with Grant Clafton, and now he's starting the Stella Mara team. So just an interesting article. And I don't have a lot of arguments about the things that he mentions in there. It's very interesting. And I'm not going to give you an opinion of mine. I'll just say, read the article. And this is just titled article that came out this morning to the Duluth News Tribune. It says, local view, Hermantown hockey is a juggernaut that's draining joy from other school programs. So it shows a picture. Yeah, it is tough. It shows a picture here of Hermantown. Looks like a section final game where they beat Greenway in one of those section final games. And he gets into a lot of details about Hermantown's program and kind of the shift of what happened in 2010 when Duluth Central ended up closing and how some of these had to go here and there. And he gets into talking about how Hermantown at that point in time was now developing into the next Duluth East. The East End families were starting to go there. And I've got proof that there's East End families that would have been East kids that are there now. Oh, well, for sure. There's that, but there's even going back farther. Yeah. There's East End kids. So there's some interesting information in there that, again, I'm not going to give you I'm friends with people in Hermantown, so I'm not going to sit here and throw darts at what you guys are doing. You're winning. And I'll tell you what, whenever you win, there's always people that don't like you. They're going to be jealous of that. They're going to be mad at you for winning and mad at you for not going up. It comes with the territory. And I'm sure Pat Andrews is sick and tired of hearing about it all the time, but he's going to hear about it every single year until they do make a decision to do it. That's all there is to it. Comes with the territory. And he knew that getting the job because Bruce Plant heard it for a bunch of years towards the end of his tenure there. So you can develop your own opinion, but I recommend that you check that out in the Duluth News Tribune.
It's very good. A lot of specific stats, he does use those terms. Our transfer is in, our open enrollees, our recruits. He says, I think he had numbers are 54 to what the last few years in playoffs, they outscored their opponents. Maybe it was just last year. They outscored in the 3 playoff games. They outscored the opponents like 54-4 or something like that. And so
whatever it is, I can't even remember the numbers.
he gets real specific, and it's a
Yeah.
very, very interesting take, being that he is so involved. You know, he is the father of Neil Pionk, the former UMD All-American, who's, you know, obviously, I guess I don't know for sure if he was an All-American, but he, you know, plays for the Winnipeg Jets. He's got Nate, his other son, plays in the East Coast League.
Yeah.
Like I said, very involved. He was a coach back in our time for the Omaha Lancers, an assistant coach. So been around hockey a long time. And, you know, I started reading the article and I wasn't going to take much of it. And I scrolled to the top. And when I saw Scott Pionk, I said, okay, now I'm going to read the whole article.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's been on the inside.
Well, I just think that's a really interesting article. And I knew someone else had to have written it when you sent it to me earlier today, that Duluth News Tribune isn't just going to post that from some writer in the area, you know, someone that writes for it. They're not just going to write about it and go do research on it. Like you get a name that's got a little bit of backing behind it, like Scott Pionk, and he sends that in and says, what do you think about posting this? And they're probably like, yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
But they didn't write it. He did.
Right.
So
Very interesting. Very, very interesting take. All right. Again, hit the like button there. Let's move on to our preview section. Brought to you by our friends over at Iron Range Apparel, Thunderbird Mall in Virginia, the Gift Buyer's Paradise, which we like to call it. They will also carry the ODR line. So anything hockey, jerseys, caps, baseball caps, hoodies, T-shirts. You know, we wear a lot of the stuff here, but ODR, the cool swag. I said, playoff hockey is here, whether it's high school or youth. So you want to look cool at the rink, so get your ODR swag. And like I said, if you're looking for a gift for anybody, they have there's stuff beyond hockey there, all kinds of gifts and knickknacks, like Minnesota themed items. You know, even hoodies, coffee cups, that kind of stuff. So you can go over there for any of your gift buying needs. Iron Range Apparel, Thunderbird Mall in Virginia. All right, well, let's start at the top with you guys. So you guys are the what?
We're the three versus the two.
Three versus the two in Andover. Just saw them a couple of weeks ago. Like you said, it was the top line that did all the scoring for Andover. So what's it going to take? Thunderhawks get the win.
Well, you know, we've got to find a way to create some offense. We've done a better job of that the last couple of games, and I think that's it's something that we've been improving on over the course of the last couple of months. Is we've played a very difficult schedule and had to try and create offense against some high-end top 10 teams in the state. So that's a good news. We played against good teams. We got a chance to play here just a couple of days ago against a team that's not in the top 10, and we created more offense. So that was nice to see. So we're going to have to do that against Andover. We're going to have to create offense. The biggest thing is we've got to be very good in our defensive zone. We've got to be very good at taking care of the puck, and we can't allow three players to take over the game. And that's 100% true. You can't allow three guys, the top three scorers in the state of Minnesota, to beat you. And that's the thing is we need to go out and use our depth, use our defensive ability and our goaltending to be able to shut down a team like that. And I think the things that we've been doing lately are going to give us a good chance to do that. I'm sure Andover would say something differently. But we're pretty confident in our ability. The last time we played them, it was a 4-1 Andover win. Their fourth goal was an open net goal. It was a close, it was a close game all night long. Again, at that game, we only created just a handful of really good scoring opportunities, and the only scoring opportunities that we gave up to them were against their top line. So we need to be better against that top line. That's 100% true. They do have a younger goaltender. If we can get shots in and we can create the right kind of shots that give us second opportunities at pucks, it's going to be, I think we're going to have success.
All right.
That's the way we look at it. And we're just taking, we're going to have to go into that game and we're going to have to take everything a single shift separately. You can't look ahead to the second period. You can't look ahead to the third period. You take it shift by shift. You take the game 25 to 30 seconds at a time per line, and you do your job as a player. We do our jobs as coaches, and we just go a little bit at a time and not get ahead of ourselves. And I think that could get us in a nice position.
Yeah, big one. So, of course, remember, they are the defending AA state champs from last year. So good luck to the Thunderhawks.
Hopefully third time's a charm here.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So East Coon Rapids, like I said, Coon making their way in, kind of cool. Obviously East, not a home game, but kind of a home game. They should have a pretty thick crowd there at Amsoil.
Well, they're going to be highly supported by the Duluth area people. I mean, they had a tough year last year. They had some really interesting things happen. They had a brand new coach last year after the Mike Randolph tenure. for so many years. And Steve Potosha comes in and he's got some issues that he's got to fix on that in that organization. And there's no question about it that he had some serious issues to take care of. And I got to tell you, if there were people out there looking at how is he doing, he's taken a complete 180 in that program in 1 year.
Yeah.
He's had issues. That team was about ready to fold up and explode. And over the course of 365 days, it's like a complete 180. That team has done a phenomenal job of being resilient from all their issues from last year. There's a few guys on that team that can score goals, and he's taken advantage of that opportunity and use those guys the right way. So a thumbs up to Steve Potosha on the job that he's done with that Duluth East Greyhound team. I hope that we get an opportunity to win here tomorrow, and that you get an opportunity to win, and we get a chance to face off in the old school, real section 7 final at Amsoil Arena with Rapids versus East. But go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, when we were just podcasting, we started in January of 21. I mean, East was so down. I remember you saying, "Crap, they're running the trap this year." Remember that, like Randolph's last year? I mean, that's how far down they were.
Well, and they ran some traps. Randolph had different ways of running things, and it was like him pushing a button and steering a joystick out there because the guys did exactly what he told them to do. And sometimes he could have run and gun teams, and sometimes he had trap teams where he's setting up the Christmas tree at center ice.
Yeah, right. That's exactly what you call
it.
Anyway, he's doing the Christmas tree trap. Yep.
but they get an opportunity to line up across from a team that, I'll tell you what, they can scare you at any point in time. They got good goaltending. They got a couple of really nice players in Coon Rapids, and that's, to me, it's kind of turned into what Blaine used to be. Blaine used to be the team where some of those area teams would where players would move to, and they're starting to move to Coon Rapids. And now that for a bunch of years they were moving to Andover. And now you're noticing, or I'm noticing, and some of the people in that area are noticing that they're not going to Andover anymore. They're starting to go to Coon Rapids. And there's a reason why they're going there, because the coach is doing a really nice job. Not that nobody else is down there. Don't get me wrong with my comment. I think the world of Mark Manning. He's done a great job in Andover. And the new guy that's at Blaine has got some work to do right now, but he's working his butt off. I know Aaron Frock personally, and he's done a really good job of just the last year of working that team and getting his kids excited. He's got cool things that he's doing with his players that are getting them excited. And I think Duluth East has to be ready for a team that's hungry, because they're ready to climb out of the cellar right now. They did it by making it past the first round. Now they want to make another step. So East is going to have to be sharp against a team like that, because again, a good goalie could create some issues for a team, and they do have a nice goalie.
Yeah. Okay. And no pressure on Coon. Like I said, you kind of come and lose.
Yeah. You don't have any pressure. No one's expecting you to do anything more. You've made it this step. No one's expecting you. So you go in there and you might surprise Duluth East. And I'll tell you what, for Coon Rapids, you better be ready for Duluth East, because they got some firepower up front. They got a couple of nice players on the back end that are pretty good. And Grant Winkler, he's a fantastic defenseman, but you got your Cole Christian, guys like that up front, Thomas Gunderson, that are up front, and those guys are really good players. They can bury pucks. So that's going to be a nice matchup, and we get a chance to watch that. That's the first game tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock in the morning. We get a chance to watch that before we play Andover at 1.
Yeah. So a lot of hockey at Duluth tomorrow. So,
and that is live streamed. If you're willing wanted to watch either of those two games, you can live stream that through WDIO online.
Okay. Yeah, because then the women play, I think, at 5:30, and then the men play at 8:30. So a busy day. So we were thinking, or at least I was, I don't know if you would, I thought that the single A games were Saturday. That's the way it's been for many years. But the single A games were supposed to be last night, Thursday night, canceled because of the weather. So we're pushing those to Monday, and those two games include.
I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, the weather wasn't even that bad.
Well, but down there, I guess
maybe
it was the wind.
But down there is where? Down in Duluth or down in the cities?
Down in Duluth, I guess. The wind was supposed to be coming off the lake at like 20 miles an hour, big waves. And so I think I talked to a guy in Superior, so he said like 5 inches of snow. So they did have decent snow, but he said the wind, he said the visibility was next to nothing. So,
well, that answers that question.
Yeah. So that's Monday night now. So one of the games, Chisholm Hibbing, Hermantown. So obviously Chisholm Hibbing going up against the Juggernaut, played them just a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a 6-1 Hermantown win up in Hibbing. So, I mean, like we said, not a lot of pressure on Hibbing, just going loose and see if we can get behind their defenseman, get some shots, see what happens.
Well, just get your guys ready to go, Coach Rewerts. I mean, you get them out there, you put them in front of the Hermantown Hawks and get Braden Boyer ready to stop some pucks. And I think they're going to be just fine. Play hard, play physical. Understand that there isn't just three guys you got to worry about up front. There's three lines of guys. There are two lines up front are really good first two lines. So you got to be really diligent on how you're changing lines. You don't get to make last change. They do. There isn't TV timeouts in this situation, as long as at least I don't think there is when it's just live streaming.
Right.
So there's no management there, but maybe you're just thinking about not putting a third line out on a D zone faceoff, or there's a lot of different things that you can think about, but go out there and give them heck, coach. Then I would say this: I support all teams in the area. I like Hermantown. I like Giving. I like Rock Ridge. I like all of these teams that are in the area here. But nothing would make me smile more with the single A games. Now I'll tell you, double A games, there's something else that would make me smile, but nothing would make me smile more with the single A Section 7 games than to see Rock Ridge and Hibbing Chisholm in the final.
Yeah, the old school 7.
Yeah.
Very old.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, right. So that leads us to our next game. So Rock Ridge Denfeld, again, another 6-1 game. Rock Ridge just pumped them up at the MEC just a couple of weeks ago. So this is your 2 and 3 seed going at it. But, you got a guy like Andy Larson for Denfeld. He knows how to find the net. He had 5 against Greenway on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you know what? Andy Larson can take control of games. And I got to be honest, we had that game on the call, Bob and I, from my 9 here a couple of weeks back when Denfeld visited Rock Ridge, and it was kind of a drubbing. Andy Larson was not at the top of his game. He wasn't feeling very good. He had just gotten back from some sort of an injury. He was playing every other shift. You didn't really see him get into his groove until the second period. And then when he did, he took the game over. He just didn't score a lot of goals. But they got a couple guys that can play. And Coach Jago's is tough. I like how he works with his players. He's challenging his organization by moving it up to AA next year, and I think that's awesome. That's going to be a fun game to watch. You'll get an opportunity if you check out some of the bonus material here this weekend. A nice little interview with myself and head coach Rock Ridge, Ben Johnson, where he'll talk about some of the things that they need to do to win that game, and some of the things that he's looking forward to, and the challenges he's had putting this program together the last 2 years. And he gives a nice little synopsis about some of the seeding stuff. And so check out that bonus material.
Yeah, that'll probably be Sunday. We'll get some of that stuff up. All right. Anything else on the previews?
Nope.
All right. Scores and more. Presented by Aspire Heating and Control, your local Bryant dealer. And Bryant is the official heating and cooling company of your Minnesota Wild, specializing in gas, electric, and hydronic heating and cooling systems for existing and new construction, residential and commercial installations available. Their services include forced air systems, boilers, heat pumps, mini splits. They are, of course, licensed and bonded. Justin is the guy. If you're having any, last night, I think this morning it was 22 below. I was supposed to have another cold one here tonight. So you're in any furnace trouble, anything's going on, Justin is the guy. Call him right now, 999-5957, 218-999-5957. Justin at Aspire Heating and Control. All right, kind of a shorter, smaller scores and more. Because of the week that was, but teams that are advancing: Roseau with a 9-3 win over Bemidji, Moorhead with a 6-2 win over Brainerd, Duluth East, like we said, their game, our quarterfinal game, was a 5-0 win over Blaine. And the Walleye Scott Edina update, big one for the Hornets, a 12-1 win over Robbinsdale Armstrong Cooper. They're set to face Benilde tomorrow. That would be a good one.
That'll be a good game to watch for anybody who wants to watch some AA hockey. Yeah, those are two fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, because I said Edina's been pretty hot. All right. Jason Chagabe War, we've talked about him a lot. Just named a Mr. Hockey finalist, and Slakinski, the Hammer, as Coach Larson likes to call him, up for the Frank Brimsek Award.
Winner.
And,
that's my opinion.
That's your guy. And then just a shout out to, some of the youth teams. I know a couple just, that I had here. I Falls, I know upset. Rock Ridge and Bantam, so they're moving on to regions. The Grand Rapids Greenway Lightning 15 new girls are moving on. Chisholm PWAs, Chisholm Hibbing PWAs, Chisholm Hibbing Bantam is moving on. But any of you that are moving on, we talked on our last show, like, hey, if you're in the game, anything can happen. Upsets can happen. We just saw it with I Falls in Rock Ridge. So if you're in the game, you got a chance to win. You got a chance to keep moving on. So that's why we play the games.
That's right. That's right. Good luck and congratulations to any of our youth teams from the Iron Range and beyond that have moved on to the region tournament.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Anything to add to episode 57?
Nope.
No. All right. Please comment. We appreciate your comments. To contact us more privately, Goatsportsmediallc at gmail.com. Please share the show. We've had quite a few people sharing. So if you like the show, share it out. So your people that follow you on social media can also see it. I'm sure if you're a hockey person, you got many hockey friends, they might want to see it. Tea with Ms McGill, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, T McGill on Twitter, and find us on Facebook and YouTube under Goat Sports Media LLC. Merch in the background, $20 for a t-shirt, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, etc. will get you all that. If you'd like to advertise on the show, you can email us. And we've got the greatest partners out there right now: the Rink Sports Bar and Grill, Iron Range Apparel, Aspire Heating and Control, and Iron Range Goalie Academy. For Reed Larson, I am Puka. Get out there and be your dream. You're tuned to the Tea with Ms. McGill Show.